How many of you have a bank? How many of you want money to stay in your bank account, right? Okay. So we've all watched what's taking place on this, and you know, when this first broke, Jan and I were talking on the phone, and she said to me, "Do you think that we'll bail them out?" And I said, "Absolutely." And Jan was like, "Well, everyone on the news right now says we're promised we're not going to bail them out. We're not going to bail anybody out. We're not going to bail anybody out." Well, watch this.
I want to briefly speak about what's happening in Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Today, thanks to the quick action of my administration over the past few days, Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them. Small businesses across the country, the deposit accounts at these banks can breathe easier knowing they'll be able to pay their workers and pay their bills.
All right. So the money the Biden administration is using for this bailout apparently is coming from the FDIC. So the feds have it covered. Don't worry about the details. Everything's totally fine. Hold on. Slow down, pal. How did this happen? Can we get an explanation for that? Don't we have regulators? And how did those regulators, since we're pretty confident they exist, aren't taking big salaries, how did they miss the fact that SVB was insolvent apparently for months, and not in some complex credit default swap way? You're going to spend 5,000 words trying to understand, but in a really simple way that's easy to understand. Their liabilities were bigger than their assets. It's very simple. How did nobody notice that? The people who were paid to notice it. Well, Joe Biden unfortunately answered none of those questions. He just ran for the door.
Thank you. God bless you, and may God protect our troops. See you in California.
Mr. President, what do you know right now about why this happened? And can you assure Americans that there won't be a ripple effect?
Do you expect other banks to fail, Mr. President? Should all depositors be protected at all banks?
All right, thank you, everybody.
Okay. Do we know why this happened? He's trying to figure out how to work the doorknob. What we know is the Biden administration is backstopping these deposits. Okay. But that's not the end of the story. In some ways, it's the beginning. So here's the part where you pause and ask yourself a question that too few seem to be considering right now. They're doing this. What are they going to get in return? Oh, something, for sure. Remember that after 2008, the Obama administration, Eric Holder, swooped in and imposed DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion standards on the entire financial sector. And that's one of the main reasons our big banks are now increasingly incompetent, and also one of the reasons Americans are so divided by race. Ideologues used the 2008 bank bailout to kill American meritocracy. That's a big step. Mostly unacknowledged, but we're living with its consequences. So you have to ask yourself, what are they going to do this time? Well, we know we're about to see bank consolidation, big banks eating little banks, and that means less competition. More consolidation means more government control. So what are they going to do with that control? Well, all things being equal, if people don't start making a lot of noise and exerting an awful lot of pressure, it'll mean digital currency, a currency that politicians control. Sign up for the CBDC app to get your food stamps. You think that's not coming? Of course it's coming.
So you two, is that the play that's going to push us over the edge, digital currency? We've all three talked about it a lot. Is this it?
Central bank digital currency, CBDC is coming. Digital currency is on the horizon. Will it blossom in the tribulation? Obviously, there's no cash. But we're seeing the foreshadows of it. Well, I think we may see some of it. Tom, I'd love your perspective.
Yeah. I noticed you're a very timely man. How much time do I got?
1 minute.
1 minute?
Because you're going to get two questions.
I agree with Jan.
You agree with
Jan?
Jan?
Yeah, it's coming. I'm not going to say when, but we know it has to come. And maybe it's something more advanced than CBDCs. But right now, I don't know what's more advanced than that. I think it was Britt Gillette I was talking with who said what's going to develop is a basket of digital currencies, because all these different countries are working on them, and it's going to get narrowed down to one. There's going to be one at the top. We know that, so it's going to go that direction. Rahm Emanuel, don't let a crisis go to waste. And so they're going to use these things to manipulate, whether it be 2008 or now, and that's my minute.
Yeah, one will be the reserve currency, is what you're saying, in the digital world. And then eventually, because of the Antichrist and one world government, it'll eventually rise to the top.